But from Baltimore, it was easy. Reacher made the trip on a bus and got out in D.C. at the depot and walked through the city to the cemetery. There was a bus stop outside the gates, a local service mostly for the gardeners. Reacher's general destination was a place called Rock Creek. His specific destination was the 110th MP Special Unit HQ. It was the closest thing to a home base Reacher had ever had. The bus let him out on a corner at the bottom of a hill. The road coming down towards him was a 3-lane with cracked concrete sidewalks. The HQ building was ahead on the left, behind a high stone wall. There was a driveway entrance between 2 brick pillars. Inside them was a sentry hutch, which was occupied by a private first class wearing the new Army combat uniform which Reacher thought looked like pajamas. Reacher stopped at the hutch and said, "I'm here to visit with your CO." The guy said, "You mean Major Turner? What name shall I give?" "Reacher." "What's the nature of your business?" "Personal." The guy picked up a phone. The call went on much longer than Reacher expected. At one point the guy asked, "Are you the same Reacher that was CO here once? Major Jack Reacher?" "Yes," Reacher said. "And you spoke to Major Turner from South Dakota?" "Yes." The guy repeated the answers into the phone and listened some more. Then he hung up and said, "Sir, please go ahead. I guess you know the way." "I guess I do," Reacher said. The building was long and low, 2 stories. There were cars parked in the lot. Some were Army sedans, plain and dark. Some were personally owned vehicles, brighter in color. One a small red 2-seater. Reacher wondered if the 2-seater was Susan Turner's. On the phone she had sounded like a woman who might drive such a thing. He went up the stone steps to the door. Inside there was a lobby, with a staircase to the 2nd floor on the right and a reception desk on the left. Then the lobby narrowed to a corridor that ran the length of the building, with offices left and right. The office doors were half-glazed with reeded glass. There was a woman at the reception desk, in the same ACU pajamas as the guy at the gate, but with a sergeant's stripes on her chest. The woman was black, and she was agitated about something. He said, "Jack Reacher, for Major Turner." The woman stopped and started a couple of times, as if she had plenty she wanted to say, but in the end all she managed was, "You better head on up to her office. You know where it is?" Reacher nodded. He knew where it was. It had been his office once. He said, "Thank you, Sergeant." He went up the stairs. They folded around and came out at the end of the 2nd floor corridor. His office was 3rd on the left. No, Susan Turner's was. He knocked. He heard a vague vocal sound inside. It might have been enter, so he opened the door and stepped inside. He had been expecting changes, but there weren't many. The linoleum on the floor was the same. The desk was the same, still dented where he had slammed some guy's head into it back at the end of his command. The chairs were the same. The differences were mostly predictable and driven by the march of time. There were 3 console telephones on the desk, where before there had been 1 old rotary dial. There were 2 computers, one a desktop and one a laptop, where before there had been an in tray and an out tray. Only 2 things in the office were unexpected. First, the person behind the desk was not a major, but a lieutenant colonel. And second, he wasn't a woman, but a man. The man was wearing steel eyeglasses and had steel gray hair, and his tapes and tags confirmed he was indeed a lieutenant colonel and that his name was Morgan. Reacher said, "I'm sorry, Colonel, I was looking for Major Turner." The guy named Morgan said, "Sit down, Mr. Reacher." Command presence was a rare and valuable thing, much prized by the military, and Morgan had plenty of it. No bullshit, no bluster, no bullying. Just a brisk assumption that all reasonable men would do exactly what he told them. Reacher sat down. Morgan said, "I need to understand your interest in Major Turner." Reacher said, I talked to her on the phone. She sounded interesting. I thought I might drop by and ask her out to dinner." "What did you talk about on the phone?" "It was a private conversation, Colonel, and I don't know who you are." "I'm commander of the 110th Special Unit."